Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee gyms aren't as doom and gloom as we thought. Cerebi got to play a ton of the game, and they come in with this quote. Overall, the game is clearly a main series Pokemon game, just with a few tweaks to lure in the uninitiated audience. It's not the competitive game some players want, but it's at its soul a true Pokemon game. And frankly, Gabe, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, we've kind of had the same sentiment. We didn't play it for 2 hours, but we've played the game now, and we have always felt this way. Like, hey, like this isn't as like bad as like people are making it out to be. At least for me, I don't want to speak for you. That's always how I felt about this game, and now it's great to see Cerebi kind of come in and echo that sentiment.
Yeah, I think the same, and given the bigger sample size of gameplay that they did get to play a gym and they did get to explore towns, and we just got to kind of run around on a route, it's good to see and hear. To me, the focal point here is on the difficulty specifically related to gyms. Our biggest concern, and we made a video specifically on this a while back, about the requirements for fighting gym leaders. And we weren't sure. Nintendo had said there will be different requirements, level requirements, type requirements, and it sounded like it was going to make this very messy scenario where it would be your hand would be held to a point that you would have to go out of your way to subvert their easy difficulty. And alas, it's not so bad. So Cerebi here states that you only need to pass the Pokemon type test when you first enter. And they say, quote, it isn't required in your actual team for when you are battling against Brock and his other gym trainers, so any fears of ridiculously easy hand-holding difficulty can be laid to rest.
Yeah, and we spoke a little bit about this when all this like first became a thing. We brought up the creation of your own difficulty where like, yeah, maybe you have to have them in the party, which now we know you don't. Thank you, Cerebi. But you don't have to use them, right? That was always something that we had said, and now it's awesome that it doesn't even have to be in the party. But yeah, this does kind of make me like feel better that the information is there for like people that want it, but people that already knew the information anyways, they don't have to play like that if they don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know, like, obviously there still are all the elements that some people are bothered by in terms of the catching and no, wild Pokemon battles and no held items and things of that sort. But I do feel better knowing it's not as stripped down as we thought. I do feel better knowing that it's not as, hey, this is like this like goofy baby version, and there still are elements of that, and they didn't play all of the gyms, so we don't know the rest of the requirements. But if it truly is that you can just, hey, you check in, you clear like that initial gate, and then you get to go about your business, that's totally fine to me. Yeah, maybe you do then, hey, I have a water Pokemon, I'm going to swap it out for my normal team, but that to me is not a very egregious ask. Like, okay, I caught this level 3, Magikarp, cool, I'm good. Or I caught this little, Weedle, I'm good. It's all good. As opposed to like, I have to hold it, but then like consciously make sure I keep it at the back of my lineup and not use it. I'm okay with this 100%.
Yeah, same here. So maybe there can be like a Nuzlocke like version of this game. People were like kind of upset by that when all this was like first happening. Like, hey, what if for us that like a like crazy hardcore experience, you might not be able to have it to the extent you want. And of course, that's still coming next year. But it does make me feel better that Cerebi says like, hey, this is like a main lane Pokemon game and people are gonna like it. And yeah, it's not like the most hardcore competitive game, but that stuff is coming, and that personally just like puts all my whatever limited worries I had to rest. I don't know how you're feeling about it. I know that neither of us ever really plays Pokemon for the difficulty. Like, that's not a difficult game, right? When someone tells you, hey, top 5 most difficult games, Pokemon isn't something we think of.
No, but it is one that you can. Previously, there was a lot of ways to expand and explore and kind of, as you mentioned, either, sort of manufacture these very special runs or really invest a ton of time into creating an ultimate team and then, having those more competitive encounters and competitive scenarios. This won't provide that. I just like that it's not as they said, it's not as hand-holdingly, obnoxiously, ridiculously easy as some had feared. And we know that Game Freak is hard at work on next year's Pokemon game. They also have Town coming. It seems like creativity and maybe some cool advancements are definitely in the works for the future. Does this change your opinion on this year's title, though? Are you going to be picking up Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, or at least one of them? We know they won't have cloud saves, sadly, but hey, at least the gyms are a lot better than we expected. Give us your take in the comments down below. Does this change anything? Are you still worried? Are you still bothered? Or has that kind of washed over and you're just ready for some Pokemon on Switch? Sarah B did point out how cool it is to see the Pokemon out there in the field, and as you carry them around, like ride them, it's a great looking game. We loved our time with it. Personally, pretty pumped for that Pikachu and Eevee Switch console. Pretty pumped for the game 2 months ago. We'll be there. Hopefully, we'll see you there as well. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and these Pokemon titles. Follow us on Twitter and Discord if you want to discuss them some more with other Switch fans and players who can help you pick your hairstyle for Pikachu or Eevee. In the meantime, though, for myself and Gabe, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. We love you. Switch Force, out.